Speak like you love yourself. Think like you love yourself. Eat like you love yourself. And care for your natural hair like you love yourself. Greetings, good people. My first tip to help your hair reach its maximum growth potential and help you retain the most density on your hair growth journey is going to be to find a wash schedule that works with your life. When we shampoo our hair, it's during this time that the hair gets majority of its moisture. Washing and detangling every 1 to 2 weeks keeps your hair hydrated and manageable. I also recommend spritzing your hair throughout the week with some water, some hair tea, aloe vera juice, whatever you like to do. If it's in a non-blow-dried or straightened style, just to give it that extra moisture boost between washes and conditioning. Tip number 2 would be to nourish your hair and scalp with all natural products. I'm going to say majority of Mother Nature's plants have healing and nourishing and fortifying benefits, protective benefits for the hair and scalp. And I'm saying majority because I haven't studied all of them just yet. But they excel in these areas where synthetics could never. Synthetics are not biologically compatible with your hair or your skin. So at best they can coat and be a delivery system for the ingredients that actually are compatible with your hair and your skin and are doing all the beneficial work in these combination synthetic and natural products. So the higher your quotient of all natural, unrefined, raw ingredients in your hair care regimen, the better condition of your hair, your scalp, and your overall health.
What are the ethnic characteristics for Amerindian peoples of North American hair? Textured hair. Today it's called kinky or wavy hair, not Asian or Caucasian straight. Our kind of hair represents a collective texture of leaves with the trees creating a forest. This is why most indigenous females have experienced prejudice against their hair. Your hair represents the forest of America in your blood reflecting from you. Please note, it is well noted when correctly nourished, Amerindian hair looks edible like a sponge and feels as soft flower petals.
And that statement right there is very true, y'all. I don't care what type of hair we're talking about. When your hair is properly cared for, hydrated, nourished, moisturized, it will feel soft to the touch, to the kinkiest, coiliest fore, on up and down. So people who have dryness complaints, breakage complaints, my top recommendation is to get more deep conditioning in, of course, with something effective for that purpose. But yes, all of our hair should feel soft to the touch without a lick of product if it is properly hydrated and properly nourished. I've worked with thousands of women over my career, and I assure you, with a great hair regimen, when your hair isn't in a dry or dang near dehydrated state, it feels soft. It might look kinky in what some people like to call Brillo, but you touch that thing and she is giving soft, okay? She's giving cotton with a little kink in there. So if you have chronically dry hair, you definitely need to make some changes to your hair care regimen. Tip number 3 is going to be to eat a balanced diet. And you want to make sure that your diet is high in amino acids, phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals so that you have more than enough nutrients to be distributed to the hair and the nails. When we consume foods, our body distributes the nutrients to the hair and the nails last, actually. So if you're not getting enough, that can definitely contribute to slow hair growth. So you want to make sure that you have your phytonutrients in the mix, which are nutrients that come from plants. Make sure you have a very high quotient of those in the diet so that you're getting everything you need to fuel consistent and fast hair growth. Tip number 4 is going to be to stay hydrated. Hydration is huge, y'all, not just externally, but also internally. Staying hydrated keeps the fluids of the body moving. It helps to keep your scalp balanced, believe it or not. It also helps to flush toxins regularly from the body. So this is something that we want to be doing on a daily. There's a recommendation floating around to have like half your body weight in ounces of water per day. And I do like that, but I also want to let y'all know that you can definitely divvy that up between water, smoothies, fruits that contain high amounts of water. It doesn't have to just be H2O, okay? And then definitely make sure you're getting spring water as much as possible and coconut water in as well for those electrolytes. But stay hydrated, y'all, inside and outside. Tip number 5 is manage stress and nervous conditions. Now, a lot of us don't realize that the hair is actually an extension of the nervous system. And so when we're having imbalances in our stress or things that affect our nervous system, like anxiety, the hair will start to fall. So we have to be careful with managing our stress load. As stress dysregulates the body, and paying attention to our nervous system and making sure that we have, nervous system balancing practices and maybe even some nervine tonics and herbs in our rotation to make sure that our body stays balanced and that our hair doesn't begin to fall as a result of imbalances in these particular areas. The hair is actually one of the indicators of our overall health. So when we're losing hair at the scalp, when it starts to fall from the scalp, that is generally an indicator of some other dysregulation in the body. And so we want to make sure that we are aware of that and that we explore that when that begins to happen. Stress, life is just stressful. It can be just stressful for a lot of us. And so things we can do to mitigate stress or manage stress would be to have like a fitness practice or a yoga practice, even a meditation practice. Go for walks. Make sure you get outside in nature often. Like I mentioned earlier, nervine tonics and herbs are wonderful as well. But do your best to not worry about things that you can't control and just do the best that you can with the things that you can and release it and let it be. I know it sounds simple in a world that demands a lot of us at times, but we got to learn how to manage the stress and manage the anxiety and the nervous conditions, not just for our hair health, but our overall health. Tip number 6 is going to be to avoid toxins in your hair care products. So toxins in your hair care products often are slowly poisoning your scalp. They disrupt your hormones and your nervous system, and are oftentimes slowly drying out the hair, causing more hair to be trimmed and a loss of density over time as your hair gets longer. So it's super important to have the highest possible quotient of all natural ingredients in your hair care regimen so that you are avoiding all of these issues long term. as you go on your hair care journey. So what you see me doing here in this clip is just applying a nice bentonite clay and honey mask. This is after I shampooed. And, just to do some gentle detoxification, some hydration, some coil clumping. But my regimen is 100% natural at this point in my journey. So I don't have any synthetic products whatsoever. And I will tell you, I've definitely noticed an overall difference in just the manageability of my hair, the softness of my hair. It retains moisture much longer. Those little pieces that used to snap off and break off, at the end don't happen anymore. And it's just night and day from my first natural hair journey some years ago. So as talked about in point 2, the higher your quotient of natural, all raw ingredients, the better condition your scalp, hair, and your health. And we're just continuing that with this particular point and making sure that y'all are mindful of any synthetics that are in the regimen, because they definitely do more harm than good. Tip number 7 is going to be to mind your genetics. Yes, genetics matter, y'all. And there's a lot of conversation about genetics and terminal length and, all that good stuff in the cosmetic science world, or, the cosmetology industry. And what I want to emphasize for y'all is that yes, genetics matter, but they aren't the only factor in your hair growth and your length retention. We definitely have to account for the diet that we are consuming, because some diets are higher in nutrients than others. And then we also have to account for our hair care practices, because the practices that we are employing on our hair make a huge difference into how much of it we retain, as well as how much of it we can grow, coupled with the diet and the genetics. And so you want to make sure that you are observing the trifecta of factors when on your hair growth journey, which would be your genetics, your diet, and the hair care practices, to make sure that you are allowing your hair the most space to thrive. Some of us have shorter growth cycles than others, and you'll only find that out by allowing your hair to, of course, grow undisturbed. With the proper maintenance, trims are necessary to cut down on damage, but allowing your hair to grow undisturbed with the proper maintenance, and just see how far it goes. So there's a study within genetics called epigenetics that basically observes external and environmental factors, how those things impact the genetics and influence the genetics, specifically as it relates to food. And the short end of it is food definitely does influence and impact our genetics. And, we pass them down to our children when they are born. And so they can also be reversed in our own lifetime and our children's lifetime. And so the diet is much, much, much more important than previously thought when it comes to not only, the hair growth, but the genetics overall, the health overall. So when observing the practices of our, people, if we're doing everything that they were doing, eating the same foods, having the same health practices, having the same care practices, more than likely you're going to get the same results. But if you change up some things, then you give yourself an opportunity to experience something different. So I just want you guys to understand that your genetics can be influenced by external factors, not can be, are. And the main one is food. And my final tip is going to be to use heat carefully. Yes, y'all, you can be a heat straightened natural and still have very long, very dense hair in great condition, so long as we are using the heat in the appropriate ranges for our hair texture. If you don't get nothing else out of this video, I want us all to understand that dry hair, as in dehydrated hair, is breaking hair. So if we are maintaining a proper moisture balance, lipid balance, keeping our cuticle in good shape, observing the proper heat for our texture. As in texture, when I say texture, I mean fine, medium, or coarse. You can't put the same ranges of heat on these different textures of hair and expect one not to burn up, or two for that matter. So we have to be very, very careful with the heat so that we are keeping the integrity of our hair and mitigating breakage. And yes, excessive blow drying can get you in the danger and breakage zone. So, moisture balance, lipid balance, and appropriate heat use for your texture. When you are ready to cultivate the best head of hair of your life and your highest overall health, I have some links in the description of services to support you. One's to my ebook, the other would be to the hair healing consultation, and the last would be the holistic health consultation. So I am here to guide and support you, and I thank y'all for watching. Until the next one.